The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Chapter 1. Let's go back into the past, far back, to the good old days of America. Tarrytown is a little village on the Hudson River. Not far away, there's a quiet valley. Sleepy Hollow is its name. People there tell many stories about magic and ghosts. The most important of these is the legend of a headless horseman. Ichabod Crane teaches the children in Sleepy Hollow. He's tall and thin, and he's got long arms, big hands and feet, a little head, and cold green eyes. The students in his school usually work well. When they don't, he hits them with a big stick. After school, he walks some of the younger schoolboys home. He likes seeing their beautiful older sisters and meeting their mothers and getting nice things to eat. Ichabod eats, sleeps, and lives with the families of his students. After a week in one house, he puts all his things into a little bag and moves to the next family. From time to time, he helps the men with their work on the farm. He always looks for easy things to do, here and there. At other times, he stays with the young children in the house, telling them stories or getting them to sleep. This makes their mothers very happy. In the evenings, Ichabod teaches singing to make some extra money. On Sundays, he directs his singers in the church. He feels very important then. Country women usually think teachers are interesting. Teachers know more than farmers. They speak better, and they like nice things too. Ichabod can talk to young women very easily. The farmers' sons watch and listen, but they are afraid to speak in front of him. After school, Ichabod reads for hours about witches and black magic. Before he knows it, it's nighttime, and he can't see his book. When he walks home, all the little noises in the night make him feel afraid. Then he begins to sing, and this makes him feel brave again. Ichabod likes to listen to the old women of the village when they tell stories of ghosts and haunted houses. He loves the legend of the headless horseman. Ghost stories are exciting when he's sitting in a nice warm room, but they're frightening when he's walking home later on a cold, dark night. He often thinks that he hears the headless horseman not far behind him. Chapter 2. In the day, Ichabod forgets about ghosts and witches. The only thing he thinks about is Katrina Van Tassel. He's under her spell. The Van Tassels have the biggest farm in the valley. When Ichabod walks past, he always stops to look at its fields and its farmhouse. Who gets all this when her father Baltus dies? Katrina, of course. Katrina is Baltus Van Tassel's beautiful young daughter. She's 18 and an only child. Ichabod thinks a lot about the farmer's beautiful daughter. He knows he must make Katrina love him. A number of the farmer's sons like Katrina too. The most important of these young men is Brom Van Brunt. He's big and strong, and he's always ready for a fight or a laugh. When the other farmers' sons see Brom's horse in front of Van Tassel's farm in the evening, they know that Brom is visiting Katrina. But Ichabod doesn't lose hope. He begins visiting Van Tassel's farm every day to help Katrina with her singing. In the late afternoon, Baltus and Ichabod walk under the trees. Brom watches angrily, but nobody sees him. Brom and his friends begin to play tricks on Ichabod. When Ichabod teaches Katrina to sing, Brom teaches his dog to howl. At night, they move all the books and chairs in the school. In the morning, Ichabod arrives. He begins to think all the witches in the country meet in his school after nightfall. One afternoon, Baltus Van Tassel's servant arrives at the school door. He asks Ichabod to go to a party that evening at Van Tassel's farm. Ichabod can't wait.
You can leave school an hour early today,
he tells all the schoolboys. He runs back to his room and puts on his best black suit. He borrows a tired old horse for the night. The horse's name is Gunpowder, and he usually works in the fields. Chapter 3. It is early evening when Ichabod arrives at Van Tassel's farmhouse. All the farmers from the neighborhood are at the party with their families. When Brom arrives, everyone is happy to see him. Not Ichabod, of course. Brom's horse is big and strong. His name is Daredevil, and only Brom can ride him. Ichabod feels happy when he sees all the good things to eat and drink in the farmhouse. Then he sees Katrina talking with Brom, and he feels angry again. Someone begins playing music in the next room. Ichabod knows Katrina loves to dance. He smiles when he remembers Brom can't dance. Ichabod knows he sings well, and he also dances wonderfully. When the dancing finishes, people begin to talk about the ghosts in Sleepy Hollow. Brom tells the most exciting story.
Some nights, when I ride through the village, the headless horseman follows me,
he says.
When I get to the bridge in front of the old church,
Brom goes on,
the headless horseman always stops. His horse can't step onto the bridge, and the rider and horse disappear in a flash of fire.
Soon the party is over, and everybody begins to leave. Before Ichabod goes, he tells Katrina about his love for her. But something goes badly wrong. And soon Ichabod leaves Van Tassel's farmhouse quickly and quietly. Without looking left or right, he rides away through Sleepy Hollow. The night is very dark. Ichabod thinks about Katrina, and he feels terrible. Then he hears a noise. He looks back over his shoulder and sees something big, black, and frightening in the dark night behind him. He's very afraid. At first, he can't speak. In the end, he asks weakly,
"Who are you?"
The figure doesn't answer. Chapter 4. Then Ichabod slaps Gunpowder on the back, and the old horse gallops away. The ghost follows them on his big black horse. When Ichabod makes Gunpowder walk slowly, the ghost makes his horse walk slowly too. Usually, when Ichabod is afraid, he sings to feel braver. Now he opens his mouth, but no noise comes out. When Ichabod gets to a hill, he looks back. Now he can see the ghost is headless. The rider's head is on the saddle in front of him. At first, Ichabod is very afraid and can't move. Then he slaps and kicks Gunpowder and makes him gallop away again. And the headless horseman follows him. Soon, Ichabod sees the church and the bridge through the trees. He remembers Brahm's story. The ghost can't go across the bridge. Ichabod gallops across the bridge and looks back over his shoulder. The horseman takes his head in his hands and throws it at Ichabod. It knocks him down off his horse. Gunpowder and the headless horseman gallop away. The next morning, people find Gunpowder near his home. Nobody can find Ichabod. But they find his hat near the bridge, and they find a pumpkin in pieces near it. Soon after, Brahm marries Katrina. When people tell the story of Ichabod Crane, Brahm smiles. He laughs when they talk about the pumpkin near the bridge. To this day, sitting in front of the fire, people in Sleepy Hollow like to tell ghost stories. And everyone's favorite is the legend of Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman.